Hi everyone. Okay, so the next section, which is section 5.4 in chapter 5, is, I'd say, probably our favorite, the markdown, when the actual selling price of an item is marked down, such as a sale, and we all love sales. So a markdown, excuse me, is a reduction in the selling price of an item, okay? And that could happen because the seller wants to get rid of excess inventory. They want to increase sales volume during sales, and they want to attract additional customers. So there's lots of reasons for a markdown. Okay, so the amount of the markdown, of course, is what you'd regularly sell an item for minus what the reduced selling price is, and that's the amount of the markdown. Okay. So substitute D for the amount of the markdown, S for the regular selling price, and S reduced for the reduced selling price. So that's what we're going to use in the formula. So the D, the markdown, equals the selling price minus the reduced selling price. So the rate of markdown is the markdown expressed as a percentage of the selling price. So if you remember back even to markups, we like to look at things in percentages as opposed to just dollar amounts. So the rate of markdown is your markdown amount, your big D, divided by the selling price, and then that would give you your percentage, or sorry, your decimal, and then you multiply it by the 100% to get your percentage. So we can also calculate the reduced selling price or sale price using our original discount formula. Okay, so it's the same formula, just using different letters, right, to represent different things. So in our first one, it was the net price equals the original list price, and you'd multiply that by 1 minus the discount. Okay, so changing it a little bit because the situation has been changed. So instead of the list price and the net price, we're looking at a reduced selling price. Okay, so the amount of the reduced selling price equals the selling price, and multiply that by 1 minus the rate or the percentage of markdown or the discount. Okay, so it's the same formula, just looking at it a little differently depending on the situation of the merchant. Okay, so let's have a look. Toby's Cycle Shop advertises a 20% markdown on an Alpine mountain bike, which is regularly priced at $445. Okay, so that's the regular selling price, or the list price, if you will. Cycle City's regular selling price for the same model of bike is $429. So we're looking at two different bike shops here, okay? So what is the reduced price at Toby's? So looking at the first part of the information, Toby's Cycle Shop advertises 20% of markdown on its bike that has the regular selling price or the list price of $445. What is the reduced price at Toby's? So remember, we can use either the, well, it's the same formula. So we're going to say the selling price reduced equals your selling price, which would be your original or regular selling price, and multiply that by 1 minus the discount percentage or the markdown percentage, which is the 20%. Okay, so we've got the original selling price, $445, multiply that by 1 minus the rate of markdown or the discount, so 1 minus 0.2, which would give you 0.8, multiply by 0.8 by the 445, and it gives you the reduced selling price at Toby's of $3.56. Okay. B, what rate of markdown would Cycle City have to offer to match Toby's reduced price? Okay. So if Toby's reduced price is $3.56, oops, I keep hitting the answer key. There. If Toby's reduced price is $3.56, what percentage would Cycle City have to offer for its reduced price to be $3.56? So its original selling price minus its reduced selling price gives you the discount amount. Okay, so the original selling price at Cycle Cities is $4.29. If it wants to start offering a selling price reduced at $3.56 to match Toby's, then the discount amount is that they're going to have to take off at the selling price is $73. Okay, so that gives us the discount amount that Cycle City is going to have to offer. Now we want the rate of markdown. So our discount amount divided by our original selling price gives us our percentage. Multiply that by the 100% discount amount divided by selling price gives us our decimal. Multiply that by 100% to get our percentage. So we know our discount needs to be $73. Divide that by the original selling price at Cycle City. Tongue twisters this morning. Discount amount, $73. Original selling price at Cycle City is $4.29. Multiply that by the 100% to get it in a percentage, and that is 17%. So if Cycle City wants to be able to match the discounted selling price or the reduced selling price, match it to Toby's, they need to offer a 17% discount. Whereas Toby is offering a 20% discount. But in the end, it's the same reduced selling price. And that's because Toby's original price was higher than what Cycle City was offering as their regular price. Here's another example. K&M Clearance Center sells premium coffee makers for 60% off the regular selling price, okay, which represents a discount of $95.40. That's the discount. Must be a really good coffee maker. What are the regular and reduced selling prices? Okay, so again, use the same formulas, but you need to manipulate the equation so that you can use the information that you have to be able to come up with the pieces that you're missing. So pause the video for a couple of minutes and give this question a try. Okay, so hopefully you've had success in giving it a try, and now let's go over the answer. So we know the rate of markdown is 60%, and we know the discount amount is $95.40. So we start with our basic formula. The rate of markdown equals the discount amount divided by the original selling price and multiply that by the 100% to put it in a decimal. Put it in a percent. I'm really confused in my decimal and percentages this morning, aren't I? Okay, so substitute what you know. So we know the discount amount. We don't know the original selling price, but we know the rate of markdown is 60%. And again, multiply that by your 100% to put it in a percentage format. Okay, so we need to rearrange or manipulate the equation. So we want to get the S by itself. So what do? We multiply both sides by S. That would give us S 60% equals 95.4 times the 100%. But then we want to get rid of the 60. So again, we'd have S and 60% on the left-hand side and the 95/40 on the right-hand side. We want to get rid of the 60. So we divide both sides by the 60%. So then what you're left with is the S by itself and 95.40 divided by 60%. Multiply that by your 100%. And then that gives us the selling price of $159 as the original selling price. Okay, so now what are the regular and the reduced selling prices? So we know what the regular selling price is, the $159. If we deduct the discount from the $159, then that's going to give us the reduced selling price of $63.60. Okay, so give the questions a try that I've suggested at the end of section 5.3 and 5.4. And I will create a couple of videos for that as well to help you with the solution. Thanks, everyone.